as we're facing all sorts of economic chaos out there, there are some issues that we have been discussing now for years here on Viewpoints, previously with the assistance of former Treasurer Dale Folwell. And that, of course, having to do with the whole aspect of medical billing, hospitalization, hospital bills, things of this nature. And I was talking with our guest now joining us, Cynthia Fisher, founder and chairman of PatientRightsAdvocate.org. PatientRightsAdvocate.org. It's a nonprofit organization. I'll get her the opportunity to explain it to us here in a moment. But the fact that there is a lack of transparency, it's the medical field, and particularly hospitals, the only place where you go where you have no idea of the cost of services or the prices that you're going to pay. You have no concept. You have no comparison, no competitive edge provided whatsoever. So with that, as we are discouraged and just, I'm telling people, by the way, Cynthia, stay calm. This will all work its way out, and that's related to the chaos that President Trump and Elon Musk have created. I will say that a little discomfort is a good thing from time to time, but leaving that political statement aside, I want to welcome Cynthia Fisher, founder and chairman of the PatientRightsAdvocate.org. And with that, Cynthia, good afternoon.
Lockwood, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
You're very kind. Tell us a little something first about you and PatientRightsAdvocate.org.
Yes, I'm a former life science entrepreneur, medical service entrepreneur, and CEO. And after I sold my company, I got a bunch of reasons to go to Washington and fight my own very industry, because I was able to put a medical service out there when I was a CEO that was price, quality, and outcome transparent. And Lockwood, guess what we did? We also charged our patient consumers all the same price. And we charged a price that was the lowest possible price that we could charge while delivering the best of quality transparently on quality and on outcomes. Fast forward, after I sold my company, I went to Washington, founding PatientRightsAdvocate.org, and philanthropically am spending my time and my treasure to lower the cost of health care and protect all Americans and American businesses from all the rampant overcharges of both health care and health coverage. And by doing one thing, making sure that we all have access to prices. Price transparency in healthcare.
Well, why is there no transparency in healthcare?
Lockwood, as long as hospitals and insurance companies hide their prices, they can charge whatever they want. And that's exactly what they're doing.
You know, in addition to this, of course, North Carolina has been very forward-thinking and has created and has continued to keep, one of the few states to keep it, certificate of need laws, which of course restricts the potential of competitive environments in the healthcare industry. And that's something that's we've criticized here on the talk station on numerous occasions. As a matter of fact, we have a state case right in our neighborhood here, a local optometrist who's fighting the con law, the certificate of need law. He's restricted on what services he can offer, even though he can offer the services at a more cost-efficient level than the current provider. The thing that surprises me about this, Cynthia, is we have accepted this for years. Is it getting worse, or are we seeing that the market is becoming more aware and, as a result, asking more questions? I doubt that, but I'm wondering.
Well, Lockwood, if you think about it, almost every one of us as Americans has a story of being overcharged by hospitals and insurance companies.
But wait a second. How do I know I'm being overcharged? I don't know what the competitive rates are.
Exactly. However, when a patient goes in to give birth to a baby, they don't expect to get a $14,000 bill from the hospital outside of their insurance, outside of their high deductible or their copays for an epidural. nor do they expect $7,000 of that bill to be from a nurse practitioner, anesthetist, and then a doctor they never saw
Right.
when they were in their delivery. So when you think about this is just outrageous, because nearly everyone has a story of outrageous thousands of dollars that they never expected to pay. I mean, let me give you an example. I'm going to answer your question that I am encouraged, because when President Trump, in the first Trump administration, came underway, they looked to say, how can we lower the cost of health care for patients and for employers, and how can we protect people from these outrageous bills? Look, every bill is a surprise.
Right.
You don't know the price. And so people have been rampantly surprise bills because they don't know the prices. And yet, Lockwood, every time we go to receive care, we have to sign a blank check.
Right.
Right now, you go into a doctor's office that's affiliated with the hospital, or you go into the hospital, and you are asked to sign in. But you're asked to sign in your signature form on a digital pen. But you are signing a contract that they don't even give you the paperwork anymore. They don't even, if you ask them to print it, they may cancel your appointment because they'll say, we don't have time for you to review the contract you're signing. They say, just sign in with your signature. Well, you're signing away all of your financial assets to be responsible, signing a blank check to pay the hospital whatever they choose to charge you, even beyond any kind of coverage that that patient may have.
You know, I've, of course, seen this in my own household as well. I mean, we suddenly get these bills. We go through the process, the EOB, the explanation of benefits and services and what have you. But frankly, it's gobbledygook to us. And the other aspect of this, and it's really stunning, we've been getting bills that are close to a year old. What's transpiring that we can't get a more current billing process? And is that because of the third party structure, the insurance companies? I'm asking you broadly, not a particular our case, but what is happening in that arena? Apparently, it's very easy for patients to receive bills upwards to a year after the procedures and the medical care has been provided.
Yes, and, at patientrightsadvocate.org, we see so many patients come into us with these outlandish bills, not just weeks and months later, but many months later, and like you said, even over a year later. Well, that's outrage, right? The reason why patients should just not pay those bills and go back to the hospital and make them give you a total itemized bill of your entire experience,
okay,
and give you also the prices for your insurance plan. Most people in this country have some form of coverage.
Right.
There's a small minority of people that do not, and those people have the right to know what are the itemized billings, total. Don't pay those bills until they prove to you that the total bill is to match your plan, and what is the discounted cash price that if you were to pay cash, because sometimes those cash prices are far lower than even the lowest insured rate. We've seen MRIs at $300 cash money, and the same hospital will see it charged over $3,000 or as high as $5,000 for the same quality MRI by the same machine, by the same team, and the same code.
Okay, now I know this to be a fact, that if a doctor charges less than what is basically a set price, then they make less money from the insurance company. I was talking to in a particular case where the insurance companies use, as I understand it, Medicare as a base for all the procedures. Whatever the charge is for Medicare, your Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Aetna, Prudential, all the others are using that as sort of the ground floor for the rates. Is that correct?
Many do use the Medicare prices as a ground floor, and others may price based on a percentage of Medicare.
Okay.
But they may use other prices as well. The reality, though, Lockwood, let's be real, is that these hospitals negotiate with the insurance
They do.
carriers.
Yeah.
They price for your plan, that plan
Right.
type. So if it's a Blue Cross HMO plan or a Cigna plan, it might be a different type of PPO plan. Those different plans all have a price that's locked in, and usually it lasts for a year. Okay, so they all know the prices, and the good news is by law, the Trump administration, in the first administration, made all hospitals and insurance companies have to post all of their prices and reveal them online. And so when we ask for the itemized bills that come in weeks, months, or a year later, don't pay them until you have proof that you were billed appropriately to the actual prices that your plan negotiated with the hospital. And look for errors and fraud. Many of these bills are overcharged. And so we have the right by law for now over 5 years. We have the right by law to know all of the hospital prices. Lockwood, unfortunately, the Biden administration, the good news is they upped the fines to fine the hospitals, $2 million per hospital for not posting those prices. The bad news is the Biden administration did not enforce the law, and they rolled it back to say they could post the prices as an estimate, not accountable, or as an algorithm instead of dollars and cents. Now, who shops with complex math formulas? I don't know anybody other than somebody who wants to play kabuki theater or obfuscate with smoke and mirrors, right? So that's the hospitals. Listen, when the Trump administration did this, the hospitals sued. They sued to try to use the First Amendment to keep prices secret, and they lost in the courts. So we know that we have this right by law. And President Trump just announced in February that he's fed up with all of this, and he announced an executive order for radical price transparency, not estimates, actual prices by all hospitals and insurance companies. And I can bet you we're going to be looking at all of us also making sure our bills and the payments by both us and our employers, those have integrity and accountability to the price we were to pay. And guess what? We're supposed to get those prices up front. So before we schedule an ACL repair or a knee replacement or a colonoscopy, we're supposed to get up front our prices and with financial certainty. That's a huge win for the American people.
Well, it is. The organization patients rights advocate.org. Before we wrap it up with you, Cynthia, and again, Cynthia Fisher, founder and chairman of the organization, what the purpose of this is, folks can go to this website. Do you assist them in the process, or you give them guidance or points of reference, if you will?
Yes, we have all 6,000 hospitals' files online, and our team will also help people. But we also have it online on how to shop in this challenging time. We believe next year it's going to be a lot easier when this executive order is implemented that is radical price transparency. But in the meantime, we all have the right to be our own patient advocate, Lockwood. And they can go to our website, patientrightsadvocate.org, and we will show them online on how to shop up front to lower their cost, and secondly, how to protect themselves from overcharges and fraudulent erroneous billings.
Patient rights. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, patientrightsadvocate.org.
Patient.
Look, the hospitals hire many middle players to help them maximize their profits, putting profits over patients. There are many middle players between the time you experience your care to the time you get your bills, because they've been looked at to figure out what can they get away with.
Okay.
And when we have price transparency up front, it's game over for these runaway costs, and it's game on for shifting power to the patients to be protected, to lower our costs, our employers to design better health plans, and reward us all with higher wages and bonuses when we all get to be protected from this greed.
Medical care is becoming our number one expense for many, and this is a big issue. Patient Rights Advocate, patientrightsadvocate.org. And Cynthia, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. This is a story that I think our audience definitely needs to know and hear. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Lower the cost. It's our choice.
It is.
To benefit from competition.
Definitely.
And you know what? This is our time. And if the hospital is overbilled, welcome to come to us. But tell your state legislator, write the CEO of both the insurance company and the hospital. Tell them you've been overcharged and to forgive your entire bill.